gosh. It's like literally, I'm just epoxied the floor. Oh my gosh. I literally don't know what to do now. I'm Melissa, and I'm updating this really hard to clean kitchen countertop and replacing this grungy looking sink. So far, I've cleaned the tile grout, removed the sink, and prepped like crazy. Was it enough? Who knows? Come hang out with me. Let's see how it goes. I'm about to do something that seems a little crazy. You may have seen all of these really cool videos about people who cover their existing tile countertops with an epoxy that looks like marble or granite, something like that. Well, I am going to cover this with an epoxy, but a clear coat epoxy. I'm not going to make it look any different. And I really haven't seen any videos on that, so I have no idea how it's going to look. I'm not really sure this is a great idea, but I really don't like cleaning this countertop. It's got super deep grout lines. Everything gets caught up in those surfaces. I don't know, I really don't hate the way it looks. It may seem a little outdated, but I still like it. I just don't like to clean it. I have assembled everything that I think I'm going to need. I've got my buckets, epoxy mix, plastic sheeting to kind of tape around the edges so that the epoxy won't drip onto my floor. Gloves, of course, stirring sticks. This thing, brand new. I get mixed information. I read and watch videos where they say don't use them because it could introduce air bubbles. So I don't know if this is a great idea or not, but I have a lot of epoxy to mix. This is quite a lot of countertop. So I'm going to use it probably, and hopefully I won't introduce too many bubbles that I can't pop. I've got my little, I don't know, mixer spreader paddles, tape, weather stripping. I saw this as a handy way to kind of set up an edge before things set. Tack cloth because I've got kitties. One of them is right there. There's so much hair floating around. Heat gun, water, tunes, a little courage, and I think I'm ready to get started. All right, time to mix the epoxy. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. I know. If you've done it before, you're like, what's the big deal? What freaks me out about the process is that there's a timing issue. It's only going to be good for X amount of time. If you don't stir it properly, you're going to introduce a lot of bubbles and it's going to be horrible and it's going to look terrible. There's like all of this potential disaster. I don't know. I'm going to follow the instructions and we'll see what we do. There are calculators online that will tell you how much of this you need to cover the square footage of that. There's a lot of formulas involved, and I don't want to do a lot of math, so I plugged in those formulas into ChatGPT and then had it tell me how much I needed per square footage. There's sort of this section, and then there's the other side, the far side. The first thing that they want you to do in order to reduce the amount of bubbles is to apply a seal coat, which sounds funny to me. Do you guys remember those Richard Scarry books? My husband has his original one. And do you remember the story about the bear who goes into town and gets a wife and they have a baby and he takes them hunting for a winter coat? It's not that kind of seal coat. This kind of seal coat, just a thin layer you put on the tile to kind of reduce those initial bubbles that might come up from any pores in, I don't know, the grout. I'm supposed to put about 10.5 ounces of A and 10.5 ounces of B into a container, mix it up. Because it's a small amount, I'll just use my stirrer this time. 10 ounces, okay guys, look. 10 ounces is like that. That seems crazy small. Is that really enough to apply even a thin coat of epoxy on that? Two things. One, this is really kind of pricey. I got this from Amazon, much cheaper than I did from any of the hardware stores locally, and I had to get a lot of them. This is just some, the rest are in the garage. While I want to have enough that I don't do too little because of the whole timing issue, I don't want to not have made enough and then now I gotta quick, like, Lucy, fix some more and get it done just right so I can add more. What was I saying? Oh, but I don't want to use too much because then I might have to go and spend like another $60. Okay, let's do it. I can do it. I can do this. God, what am I forgetting? I've got my brushes, old brushes. For this seal coat, I can just use like a little brush to kind of brush it on. Again, thin is the theme for this seal coat. You mix A first. A is supposed to be a little more viscous, while B is a little thinner. I'm kind of compromising on how much I'm going to mix here. Instead of 10 and a half and 10 and a half, I'm going to do 16 and 16. I feel more comfortable with that. So that's what we're going to do. Surface prepped. I've prepped the out of that surface. Oh, it is very big. Okay. Whew. This is the one that smells. Clock has started. Stir it nice and slow. Scraping the edges. I see bubbles in there. It's going to be impossible, I think, not to have any bubbles. That's why I borrowed the heat gun from my friend. That is how, at least it's one way, to be able to pop those bubbles at the end. The thing is, if you don't mix in the hardener really well, it's not going to harden. I mean, that's the logic of it, right? What does that mean? It means it will stay soft. Just mix it good. So then they say to pour it into a second bucket. Really make sure you've got it all mixed in together. Okay, I've scraped the bottom. I've scraped everything. Oh my goodness. I'm actually going to put this on my countertop now. Okay, so I got 40 minutes of working time. 40 minutes. Okay. One thing I tried on the other side was I tried using this brush at first to brush it in because I saw a video that did that. And this stuff is a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of like a very thick corn syrup. So I'm going to use a spreader to spread it pretty quickly. It gets harder and harder to move around the longer you wait. And then I will use the brush to make sure I'm getting in all of these grout lines. What did I do with it? Good. So I'm going to put this on a low setting, and I'm going to just run this over. So I saw somebody use a gloved hand to kind of wipe some of these edges. See it, kind of a dry spot there. All right, I'm gonna stop fussing for just a little bit. I'm supposed to wait like 3 hours minimum before I put like the flood coat on. So now I just need to figure out like cleanup. So far, so good. Hello, everybody. It's late. It is evening. Time has passed. About 5 hours. I kind of messed up my timing. For some reason, I thought I had like a day before adding my flood coat in, but apparently it's best to do it within like 4 to 6 hours-ish. So it'll have better adhesion, the flood coat. So it's gonna be a late night, that's okay. This next batch of resin, it's gonna be a lot, 1.8 gallons. Because that's kind of so close to 2 gallons, and this is a 1 gallon kit, and this is a 1 gallon kit, I'm just going to mix up these two 1 gallon kits. I hooked up this paddle to my drill. Super easy. They suggest if you are going to use a paddle, which I am because this is a big job, that you don't pull it out of the resin because that will introduce bubbles. No one wants bubbles down there. And then use a slower speed. I've got spreaders. I got all the gloves. I don't know if you can tell. I've opened the windows. I should have had the windows open. It's not worth breathing in all those fumes in an enclosed space. Let's hope I don't pour this all down my shirt. Okay, there we go. Nice. I'll let that sit for a second. All right, how are you doing? You look pretty empty. All right, here we go. Big bubbles. It's like baking a smelly cake. I'm also going to stir, because why not? I were mixing cake batter. This is exactly what I would do with it to make sure that it is mixed thoroughly. Turn it while scraping the sides, then kind of make sure you go along the bottom. Ooh, okay, all right. I guess I just like dump this right on the counter. But here we go. Back that up. Okay. Epoxy on the floor. You probably can see it, and I'm just tracking it through. I'm just tracking it through. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Tracking it all over the floor. I literally don't know what to do now. Okay, what should my priority be? To mix more and put that on here, or clean up the ground? I keep tracking through it. What can I do to not track through it anymore? Okay, I'm gonna put this down. It's plastic. I haven't used it in forever. It's cheap, so don't worry about it getting too messed up. And then I'm going to clean up the epoxy after I poured this. It's like literally, I'm just epoxied the floor. Oh God. So after I mix up a bit more, pour that, let that go. And before I do this side, I will clean up the epoxy. It's on my hands. Man, that's pretty smooth already. Hey guys, what a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. Look at it. So shiny. Are there imperfections? Sure. You have to look hard to find them. I think for most people, yeah, most people aren't going to notice those little flaws here and there. So shiny. If I look across the surface, it looks so smooth. At least it does to me. I'm super happy with it. Now, along the edges, it's a little ripply, all these little drippies. I'm going to sand those out. I got rid of most things, so they're not really too bad, but I'm going to use my sander and sand those. But really, overall, it looks really so good. This tabletop epoxy did such a good job. I'm going to use the same grit that I had on here yesterday when I was just sort of roughing up the surface a bit. That seemed pretty good. Okay, some of these are a little tougher to get down. See how it's so soft? It's been worn down a lot. Thinking if I just put a new piece right here, it'll just work a little better. Pop that in. It's got like a Velcro back, so it just sticks right to it. And let's see if that will help these a little bit better. I can wipe off the counter easily. That was the whole point. Look at that. Oh, baby. Wipe. Okay, I'm going to try some 320 grit. I'm going to see if I can find my little sander block thing. This is what I'm talking about. It's got a soft, kind of like a hard sponge on this side. So you cut this, eyeball it. So you put the rough side out and you stick one side in here when this is like a T. Okay. Fold this around, tuck this in, and then you turn it. There we go. And then it's just easier. All right, that's good enough. I'm really good at moving stoves. I'm going to be applying a matte top coat on this. So I know it's super shiny, but I really didn't want something like that shiny. I've seen the matte top coats and I like the way that looks. It also hides things a little bit. So I'm curious if once I put the matte top coat in, if it will mask some of the obvious little imperfections. Again, you got to be looking for them. Who's going to do that? Well, my counter survived and I survived. The good news is the hard part is over and I can cross this off my list. I'll be honest, this was probably not the best project for a beginner. I'd never worked with epoxy before. So why I thought doing this on the most visible surface in my home, the one you see right when you walk in the front door, I'm not sure. But I lucked out and so far I'm so happy with it. There are two changes, however, I would probably make if I did this again. One, knowing me, I would apply plastic over every surface of the floor, from the workstation to the kitchen, in between the countertops. Knowing how much I tend to sling that epoxy around, I think that would be a wise choice. Also, knowing I'll probably still be walking through it, you know those little disposable booties that plumbers or construction workers will sometimes wear when they come into your home? Maybe getting some of those to put over my shoes would be a good idea. That way I wouldn't have to get epoxy over my shoes like I did this time. 2 pairs of shoes, in fact, and 3 pairs of socks. But overall, I am so happy with how it turned out. It is so easy to wipe down the surface of the countertop. I know it seems like a little thing, but if you think about it, we're in our kitchens all the time. In the next video, I'll apply a polyurethane top coat, a matte top coat. A matte top coat will cut down on the shininess a bit, and maybe, if I'm lucky, those little embedded kitty hairs. So join me for that, and we'll see how it goes.